The rain hammered against the windows of our little cottage in the Cotswolds, mirroring the storm brewing inside me. For 20 years, Ingrid and I had built a life here, a quiet, idyllic existence far removed from the hustle of London where we first met. Barnaby, a clockmaker by trade, found solace in the rhythmic tick-tock of gears, a predictable counterpoint to the unpredictable nature of human hearts, or so I thought. It started subtly, almost imperceptibly. Ingrid, a novelist, always cherished her solitude, but lately her writing sessions stretched late into the night. Her explanations were vague, filled with talk of writer's block and needing to find her voice. I foolishly accepted them. After all, trust was the bedrock of our marriage, an unspoken agreement that had weathered countless storms. Then came the phone calls, whispered conversations in the garden, a quick hanging up when I entered the room. "Wrong number," she'd say, her eyes darting away. But the seed of doubt had been planted, a tiny, insidious thing that began to burrow its way into my mind. One Tuesday, Ingrid said she was attending a literary event in Oxford. A familiar pang of loneliness hit me as I watched her drive away, her silver Volvo disappearing around the bend. I busied myself in my workshop, the familiar scent of oil and polished brass usually a comfort, but today it felt like a shroud. That evening, a client, a gruff farmer named Giles, stopped by to pick up a repaired grandfather clock. As we loaded it into his truck, he mentioned seeing Ingrid at a pub in Stow-on-the-Wold earlier that afternoon. "Seemed mighty cozy with some fella," he said, his eyes twinkling with a mixture of amusement and pity. "Thought you ought to know, Stow-on-the-Wold. It was in the opposite direction of Oxford." My blood ran cold. I thanked Giles, my voice a strained whisper. As he drove off, the rain intensified, washing away any semblance of peace I had left. I couldn't bring myself to call her. Instead, I did something I hadn't done in years. I logged into her email account. I knew her password, Shakespeare 1609, a relic from her university days. I told myself I was just being cautious, that I needed to quell my rising anxiety. But deep down, I knew the truth. I was searching for answers, for proof of the betrayal that was gnawing at my soul. The inbox was surprisingly empty, meticulously cleaned. But then I saw it, a folder labeled Drafts. Inside, a series of unsent emails to a man named Thuron. The words swam before my eyes, a torrent of confessions and longing. "I can't stop thinking about you," one read. "Barnaby suspects nothing, the dear fool," another one said. "Our little rendezvous in Stowe was divine. I long for our next escape, Thuron." The name was unfamiliar. I Googled it, my hands shaking. The search results revealed a picture of a handsome, younger man, a literary critic known for his scathing reviews and his even more scandalous love affairs. He was everything I wasn't: confident, urbane, and seemingly irresistible. The emails continued, painting a vivid picture of their affair. Secret meetings in hotels, stolen weekends in Bath, whispered promises of a future together. Each word was a dagger twisting in my heart. I read on, compelled by a morbid curiosity, wanting to know the full extent of her deceit. One email, dated just a week before, sent a chill down my spine. "I'm thinking of telling Barnaby," Ingrid had written. "I can't live a lie any longer. I deserve to be happy, and so do you." Thuron's reply was chillingly pragmatic. "Don't be rash, darling. We need to be careful. Barnaby is a good man, a simple man. He won't understand. Let me handle it. I have a plan, a plan." What plan? The thought sent a wave of nausea through me. I closed the laptop, my hands trembling. The rain outside had stopped, but the storm inside me raged on, fueled by anger, betrayal, and a profound sense of loss. When Ingrid returned home late that night, she found me sitting in my workshop, surrounded by the tools of my trade. My face must have betrayed my turmoil, because she stopped short, her eyes widening with a mixture of fear and guilt. "Barnaby, what's wrong?" she asked, her voice a carefully constructed mask of concern. I held up the laptop, the screen still displaying the email from Thuron. "Care to explain this?" Ingrid, her face crumbled, the mask shattered, revealing the truth beneath. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she stammered. "It's not what you think, Barnaby. It just happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far." "Not what I think," I echoed, my voice rising. "I read the emails, Ingrid. I know about Thuron. I know about the lies, the deceit, the betrayal." She sank to her knees, clutching at my legs. Please, Barnaby, forgive me. I still love you. It was a mistake, a moment of weakness. I looked down at her, at the woman I had loved for 20 years, the woman I had trusted implicitly. But all I saw was a stranger, a liar, a cheat. The love I had felt for her withered and died, replaced by a cold, hard emptiness. Love, I said, my voice devoid of emotion. You don't know the meaning of the word. Get out, Ingrid. Get out of my house, out of my life. She pleaded, she begged, she promised to end the affair, but I was unmoved. The damage was done, the trust broken beyond repair. I watched as she packed her bags, her tears a pathetic attempt at manipulation. As she walked out the door, she turned back, her eyes filled with a desperate plea. What about us, Barnaby? What about our life together? There is no us anymore, Ingrid, I said, my voice cold and final. You destroyed it. After she left, I wandered through the empty house, each room a painful reminder of what we had lost. The silence was deafening, broken only by the rhythmic tick-tock of the clocks I had so lovingly crafted. But even their familiar sound offered no comfort. I spent the next few days in a daze, numb to the world. Friends called, offering condolences and support. But I couldn't bring myself to talk to them, to share the pain that was consuming me. I felt like a broken clock, its gears stripped, its hands frozen in time. Then one morning a package arrived. It was a book addressed to me in unfamiliar handwriting. I opened it cautiously, my heart pounding in my chest. It was Ingrid's latest novel, the one she had been working on in secret for months. I flipped through the pages, my eyes scanning the text. And then I saw it, a dedication written in bold letters. To Thuron, my muse, my lover, my soulmate. The blood drained from my face. The audacity, the sheer callousness of it was breathtaking. She had not only betrayed me, but she had flaunted her affair in my face, immortalizing it in her work. That was the breaking point. The moment when the numbness gave way to a burning rage. I would not be a victim. I would not let her and Thuron get away with their betrayal. I decided to take matters into my own hands. I knew Thuron was scheduled to give a lecture at a university in London the following week. I also knew that Ingrid would be there, eager to bask in his glory. I spent the next few days meticulously planning my revenge. I contacted a friend who worked as a journalist, a man named Alistair, and told him everything. He was outraged by Ingrid's behavior and eager to help me expose her and Thuron. On the day of the lecture, I drove to London, my heart pounding with a mixture of fear and anticipation. Alistair met me outside the university, a camera crew in tow. "Are you sure about this, Barnaby?" he asked, his eyes filled with concern. "Never been more sure," I replied, my voice firm. "It's time for them to face the consequences of their actions." We waited in the lobby, watching as the audience filed into the lecture hall. I spotted Ingrid almost immediately, her eyes sparkling with excitement as she greeted Thuron. As Thuron began his lecture, Alistair and I slipped into the back of the hall. The camera crew set up their equipment, ready to capture the moment. When Thuron finished speaking, I walked to the front of the hall, my voice ringing out through the microphone. "Excuse me," I said. "I have a few words I'd like to share." Ingrid's face paled as she recognized me. Thuron looked confused, his eyes narrowing with suspicion. "My name is Barnaby," I said, "and I am Ingrid's husband." A gasp rippled through the audience. Ingrid buried her face in her hands, her shoulders shaking with sobs. "For 20 years I loved Ingrid unconditionally," I continued. "I trusted her, I supported her, I believed in her. But she betrayed me, she cheated on me, and she flaunted her affair in my face." I held up a copy of Ingrid's novel, pointing to the dedication. "She dedicated this book to her lover, Thuron, the man she has been sleeping with behind my back." Thuron stepped forward, his face flushed with anger. "This is a private matter," he said, his voice trembling. "You have no right to do this." "Oh, but I do," I replied, my voice rising. "You see, Thuron, you may be a celebrated literary critic, but you are also a home wrecker, a liar, and a cheat." I turned to the audience, my eyes filled with righteous anger. "These two have been carrying on an affair for months, betraying my trust and destroying my life. They deserve to be exposed, to be held accountable for their actions." Alistair stepped forward, handing out copies of Ingrid's emails to the audience. The camera crew filmed the scene, capturing every detail of their humiliation. The lecture hall erupted in chaos. People gasped, whispered, and pointed fingers at Ingrid and Thuron. They stood there exposed and ashamed, their reputations in ruins. I walked out of the hall, leaving them to face the consequences of their actions. Alistair followed me, his eyes filled with admiration. "You did it, Barnaby," he said. "You exposed them. You got your revenge." I nodded, a sense of satisfaction washing over me. But it was a bittersweet victory. I had exposed their lies, but I had also destroyed my own life in the process. I returned to my cottage in the Cotswolds, the rain once again hammering against the windows. But this time, the storm inside me had subsided. I was free, no longer bound by the lies and deceit of Ingrid and Thuron. The road ahead would be long and difficult, but I was determined to rebuild my life, to find happiness again. And as I sat there, surrounded by the familiar tick-tock of my clocks, I knew that I would survive, that I would emerge from this ordeal stronger and wiser. In the weeks that followed, the story of Ingrid and Thuron's affair became a media sensation. Their careers were ruined, their reputations tarnished beyond repair. They became pariahs, shunned by their friends and colleagues. I, on the other hand, received an outpouring of support from friends, family, and even strangers. People admired my courage, my determination to stand up for myself and expose the truth. I eventually sold the cottage in the Cotswolds, the memories too painful to bear. I moved to a small town on the coast where I opened a new clockmaking shop. I found solace in my work, in the rhythmic precision of gears and springs. Years passed. I never remarried, but I did find companionship with a kind and gentle woman named Bronwyn, a local artist who shared my love of the sea and the simple things in life. I often thought about Ingrid and Thuron, wondering what had become of them. I heard rumors that they had moved to France, living a life of quiet desperation, haunted by their past. I never regretted my decision to expose them. They had betrayed me, they had destroyed my life, and they deserved to face the consequences of their actions. I had learned a valuable lesson about trust, about love, and about the importance of standing up for oneself, no matter the cost. And as I sat in my shop, listening to the gentle lapping of the waves against the shore, I knew that I had finally found peace, that I had finally healed from the wounds of the past.